This is just a brief introduction to rational functions. So just to get a feel of what a rational function is and what it looks like when we graph it, we're going to look at an example. F of x equals 4 over x. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick some values for my function. And in this case, I'm just going to go with the straight up -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm plugging in -4, -1, -4/3, -2, -4. Ooh, can't do that. Can't divide by 0. So we'll put undefined in there. We'll have to think about what is happening there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now let's take a minute to graph this and see what general shape I'm getting here. So -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, -1, -3, that's a little bit more than 1, -2, -2, and -1, -4. So I'm getting this kind of shape over here. And it's kind of interesting here because really what I'm asking is I'm asking for an x and a y that equal 4. So I could transform this to say x times my f of x equals 4. So I'm looking for two numbers that equal 4. So I have a negative times a negative, and then conversely I have the positive times a positive. So 1, 4, 4, 1, 2, 2, and that's going to give me my general shape. And of course, as x gets bigger, y is going to get smaller, but never hit 0. And the same thing here, as y gets bigger, x is going to get smaller, but never hit 0. And the same thing down here. So it looks like, you know, connecting this back to some of our previous functions that we've learned, that there's some asymptotes here. And the asymptotes deal with the fact that we can't divide by 0. So let's just remind ourselves, domain. We would say x such that x is an element of the reals, where x does not equal 0. Range is actually going to be the same thing, y such that y is an element of the reals, but y does not equal 0. Yeah, and maybe just to note that in this case, we have no x-intercepts or y-intercepts. Later in our notes, we'll actually work through how to graph rational functions that are much more complicated than this. But this just gives us a general sense. We have something happening where I can't divide by 0, so I have to worry about that denominator. We have something happening with some asymptotes, places where the function is undefined, and that comes into play with my domain and range also.